Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be talking a little bit about learning software development at, say, a boot camp or a quote-unquote fellowship or whatever you want to call it, or just learning yourself. And this is, by what I mean by this is being a self-taught programmer regardless of having a CS degree or not. um, so let's begin. So you know most of the people, most of the developers that are working in the industry today, may maybe they work at Google or Facebook or one of the big wigs like Microsoft or whatever, or if they just work at a some small to medium sized startup or mid-sized company or a corporation. A lot of people don't have like CS degrees. A lot of people don't have it. They'll either have I've seen people with anthropology degrees, degrees in history, math, completely unrelated to software development in any kind, but the way they got their jobs is by either going through a coding boot camp or by self-learning. And the thing about coding boot camps is they're great. Uh, see, there a lot of the coding boot camps that are out there, and a lot of them don't like naming themselves as boot camps, because there's now sort of like the stigma in the industry against boot camps, because they're not always producing the kind of quality that they're, I guess, people would think. But I guess that's just from my experience. But anyways, um, the way the learning goes in these boot camps is, and they vary from different months to some are like, what, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, some are 3-4 months. And I know some of the popular ones are like, I think, 4 months. Anyways, so as soon as you go into these boot camps, you're introduced to, like, you start off with the most basic stuff like HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript, and then then you learn a library such as React or Angular or Vue or whatever it is. And most of the boot camps I know are full stack boot camps. I don't know personally of any like front end boot camps or back end boot camps, because a lot of these boot camps, they want to introduce you to everything. So basically you can just go out and get a job, and you're there to figure out your niche, whether it be front end or back end or games development or pure like applications development, and at whatever level, startup or enterprise level. So in a long story short, like, if you go to one of these boot camps, you're not going to learn everything. You're going to be there for a very short amount of time. It's going to be a regular 9 to 5 schedule, Monday to Friday, and you'll have, say, an additional 40 hours of coding outside, on the weekends. Don't forget that you also need to live, so you might have to have like a weekend job part-time to like sustain yourself and pay your bills and whatnot, because at the end of the day, you need money to go back and forth to the place, unless you save X amount of money. Anyways, so that's the thing people tend to forget about boot camps, is that you're not going to learn everything coming out. Like, you're not going to be a master at all. And if someone tells you that, then I would dig a little deeper in terms of like finding out which boot camp and whatnot. But that's just from my experience. Don't think that you're going to come out knowing everything, because what they're going to do is they're going to introduce you to, basically, like, they're going to introduce you to the topics, like within front end, learning JavaScript, learning React, and then the subcategories, the sub lessons underneath those main broader topics. And then the schedule typically is that you go in for the first few hours, whatever it is. You learn a certain topic, and then you have a lecture on it, and then the second half of the day, they usually build off of what you learned previously. And then depending on the program, you have office hours after. Usually people stay later and then do like a group study, the typical college thing, typical education thing. But what I guess, like, the biggest pros I can say of going to a boot camp are, you're pushed to such a level, excuse me. You're forced to push yourself to so many limits that you really come out different. You really come out knowing if you gave it 100%, then you come out knowing that, you know, I found out things about myself that I didn't know coming in. And it's great for personality development as well, opposed to like learning new skills. And, you know, going in, you learn the basics, and then it's up to you to expand on those topics, expand and, you know, become better as a developer, and really hone in on those topics or subjects or whatever your preferred niche is, and, you know, go for the job that you want in the industry that you want, and etc., etc. You will save a lot of time going to a boot camp in terms of like learning by yourself. I don't know. Don't quote me on that one, because people learn at different paces. Like, you can very well sit at home and, you know, teach yourself different libraries and the ins and outs of JavaScript and HTML, CSS, how to build web pages and websites, and, you know, make them responsive and mobile first, offline first, that sort of thing. You can absolutely teach yourself all these things. You know, at a boot camp, you're forced. Like, you don't have a choice. You're forced to learn these things and apply them on a daily basis. And I think even though as hard as it gets, sometimes being thrown to the wolves is like, you know, at least in my opinion, for me, I know being thrown to the wolves was a good thing for me, because I had to swim. It was sink or swim. And sometimes that's like the best thing for you. Sometimes, not all the time. But you have to really figure out, you have to do your homework before going into one of these boot camps. They're good, and they're, you know, as anything in life, there are cons to it. But, you know, do your research, do your homework. And, you know, yeah, it's, at the end of the day, it all comes down to whether you want to learn. Because you can go to a boot camp, but they're not going to automatically input all the information into your brain. Like, it's up to you to take the initiative, to learn, to apply, to practice. It's all on you. So you can not go to a boot camp and then just spend X amount of months or a year just studying everything with just as much vigor, diligence, and discipline, opposed to somebody who goes to a boot camp and just, like, you know, floats their way through it and basically just tries to like survive, comes out not, you know, really knowing where to go next or what to do next. So it all comes down to you. It all comes down to what your grit is. Another good thing about boot camps, I would say, is like you like networking. Like, you'll meet a lot of people, provided you take the initiative to you know, nurture those professional relationships going forward after the program. And, you know, I know the boot camp, the fellowship, I guess mine was a fellowship because it was 10 months long opposed to 4 months long, was, you know, we were forced to go to events. Well, not forced, I shouldn't say forced, but we were made to go to events like New York Tech meetup and different, you know, meetups that you know, we were able to go to, learn different topics, and, you know, at the end of the day, just meet different developers, get different insights, job fairs, you know, etc., etc. So these I shouldn't say soft skills, but like these life skills definitely is a part of a lot of the curriculum that's out there in these boot camps. And, you know, that's something that you're not going to really focus on if you sit at home just coding yourself away in your room. You know, it's yeah, you learn all this stuff, but it's like I said before, it's up to you to take the initiative to you know, do what you need to do, you know, to go forward. Because like I said, if you go to a boot camp, you know, if you're not motivated, you're not going to get anywhere. Just blunt and simple. But that's that. Yeah, it comes down to personal grit, your discipline, your I guess your decision as to where you want to go, where you want to take your career. But yeah, that's my little rant for today. Boot camps versus self-study. And self-study is great. A lot of the learning that you'll do will be self-studying, because the boot camp will only be for X amount of months. It'll only be for X amount of months, and excuse me, I'll just shut the window here. The boot camp will only be for a set few months, but after that, that's when the real learning, starts, because a lot of the learning most of it is going to be on the job. Like, you're not going to learn nearly as much working as you will, just like studying at home or something. You're going to learn a lot more when you're actually working on the job, because now you're not only learning like the ins and outs of company dynamics and how the company structure affects the code architecture. Not only are you learning the ins and outs of the way companies work and process, but you're also learning different pitfalls. You're making different considerations based on what kind of company you work for, whether it be an enterprise level or startup. So you learn to make different considerations, and dealing with different stakeholders, stuff like that. You're not going to learn, not working. That's and it sucks, like, in the beginning for people who, for like juniors who really struggle to get that first job. They say the first one's always the hardest one, but just hang in there. Don't give up. You cannot give up. You just have to keep going no matter what. Just keep your eye on the prize and be diligent, work hard, don't give up, concentrate. Just strive for the best, and don't let anything get in your way of your education, your career, your goals, your dreams, because that's what's gonna make you who you are. That is what's gonna define your life. Like, so just be very mindful of that. Like, whatever it is, like, yeah, you look back in your life, oh, I wasted so many years doing this and that, and it doesn't matter. What matters is what are you doing now? Like, what are you doing right now in the moment? Like, I'm making a YouTube video right now, but like, if you're just sitting at home bumming around, then it's just like, wouldn't you rather do something more productive, something more progressive? And that could be anything. That could be anything from learning a new language to learning a new skill set or whatever it is. But if you do one thing that's positive, then you're going to do another thing that's positive, and you're going to be more encouraged to do something more that's positive. And then soon enough, you're going to make that a habit. It's going to become a routine, and once you maintain that, then it's just like you get on that path, and then now you're on that path. So you look back and like, wow, look at how far I came. Now I'm just going to continue on this path and just keep going forward. And I was watching this motivational video, of this admiral from the Navy, from the U.S. Navy. Amazing video. And he was saying that if you want to be successful in life, if you want to get somewhere in your life, start off by making your bed in the morning. I know it sounds funny when you say it, right? But like, listen to his point. His point was that if you start your day off doing getting the most basic things right, like making your bed, then that lays the foundation for the rest of the day. But if you can't even make your bed, like if you can't even do the most simple task that is making your bed, or straightening out your stuff before you get out of your room, then now it's like you couldn't even do the most basic thing, and now the rest of your day is just going to go in complication. So you want to set that foundation. And this might sound, I don't mean to make this like a motivational video or anything, but I'm just saying, if you want to really get ahead as a developer, as a professional, you need to get the basics right first, and then just build off of that. Doesn't matter how long it takes you. If it takes you months, even if it takes you like a year, right? Just years to like really nail the basics. Take that time, because otherwise it's just useless going forward. Because then you're just gonna keep stumbling, and then keep looking back and like, oh wait, how does a promise work? What is the execution context? What orders do promises run in? You know, what does the map function do? What is happening under the hood with the filter function? These are all, you know, basic things, you know, that you should really nail, like the ideas behind, like, say, shorthand functions in JavaScript, like map, reduce, filter. And I'm not saying you should like you know, like go into a rabbit hole of knowing, but like you should at least know under the hood, like, what are these shorthand functions doing. You should be able to solve algorithm problems without having to use you know, array methods or string methods or anything like that. Like but that's what I mean by really strengthening out your basics. So just keep those in mind. And yeah, if you have any questions, please, you know, comment below. Yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and I'll check you guys out in the next video. Yeah, hit me up with any suggestions that you have, or for any topics that you know you would like me to discuss. I know these videos are a little long and you probably didn't watch the whole thing, but yeah, just see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.